of shooting bows is all about creating sickness. That's what it's about. We see right here with perfect clarity that the Greek is talking about absolutely the weaponization of medicine. This is what it's talking about right here. It is talking about the great world ruling power is the Pharmakai, a goddess who protected a poisoned well. The pharmaceutical giants, that they're the ones in control. Guys, it's all here in the Greek. It's all here in the Apollo, the Hippocratic Oath. Every bit of it's here. Apollo, the god of prophecy, healing, plague, and disease, anciently called the physician. And anywhere he manifests and begins moving among the children of men, there is always this movement to protect the children. What does that mean? Protect them from who? Guys, his wife was Corona, and he's got a crown put on his head that's Corona as well. His son is the god of medicine, Asclepius. And in the end, his son is educated by Chiron, who's a white centaur who is a master of the bow. Yeah, that's who his son was educated by, which means Chiron, the centaur, the riderless horseman, is actually a genius at Pharmakai, because that's who educated the god of medicine. I swear by Apollo the physician. That's the Hippocratic Oath, guys. So it's not a mystery to me why Job would refer to his sicknesses as being caused by the arrows of God, because this is what the ancient belief was in the era epos. So it's very interesting. So what happened in July of 2012? I'm going to tell you what happened. The opening ceremony in London for the Olympics in 2012 was a ritual, and it was observed by millions of people, which means millions of people participated in a ritual that showed hospital beds surrounding inside an auditorium, and an immense ritual playing out with hospital beds, IV drips, the whole shebang was laid out. I don't need to go into detail. You need to go watch it. Because in 2012, the 2012 London Olympics, remember what London is. London is the city. It doesn't belong to the people of the UK. London is the city, just like Vatican doesn't belong to Italy, just like Washington, D.C. does not belong to the people of the United States of America. There's a reason these three ancient stone obelisks from the old world were put at these locations. In London, they did the ritual at the opening ceremony, showing the hospital beds, showing the IVs, everything's laid out for all to see. But that wasn't enough. It was the beginning. They needed closure. So in 2012, the closing ceremony for the London Olympics, they showed the phoenix in the sky with the world underneath it burning. It's all laid out for you to see. The first ritual was a prophetic foreshadowing of the breaking of the seal in 2020. The second ritual was the unfolding of events 20 years later in 2040. It's all there for you to see. What do the Olympics represent? The Olympiads, the ancient Greek calendar. Book of Revelation was written in what language again? So now, when it comes to ritual, they weren't done. And there's many that, this is why I need you guys. You guys need to do your own homework. You need to educate me. But I know in my heart of hearts that the entire George Floyd episode with the big old crystal glass coffin and all the protests, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. All that was ritual, guys. Pantomime is the highest form of ritual. They are patterning, they are creating they're creating a pattern. Anyone observing a ritual is a participant. So this is what happened with George Floyd. I can't breathe. It's all part of the ritual. The ritual didn't end. They just keep adding accretions to it. So January is when several things unfolded at the exact same time. Several things. In January of 2020, we already know the whole world stopped. Lockdowns everywhere, mask mandates going on, fear mongering, doomsaying, all these people putting out projections that this was the new normal. People were shocked. But as this developed, an awakening occurred, because when one kingdom moves, the other is equally empowered. Remember, this is a very old spiritual concept. This mass awakening, 2020 was bad for the collective, but for the individuals, this scales were removed from the eyes. In January 2020, on January, I don't know, this is weird, but on January 14th, a music group named Black Clover released a song called Breaking the Seal. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. On January 14th, the show Black Clover debuted an episode called Breaking the Seal. It was a TV program about the devil's soul word magic. Is that evidence in and of itself? No. So we're going to continue. On January 21st, the CDC announced officially that the first case of coronavirus had entered the United States. That's the CDC. On January 24th, 2020, a music group called Ghost in the Machine released a song called Breaking the Seal. A television show and now a song, both called Breaking the Seal. Ghost in the Machine is very weird. You can look this up online. I listened to it and I did not like it. There are no words that can be understood, but you have the feeling that something is speaking. It feels to me that it's AI generated music. There are no lyrics. To me, the song is subliminal. It's called Breaking the Seal by Ghost in the Machine. Ghost in the Machine is AI. So, January 24th, 2020, NASA's Stennis Space Center hosts a massive celebration in honor of the 50th year since the Apollo missions. Apollo 1. There's that Apollo again. Of course, we can chalk that one up to coincidence. But on January 30th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared coronavirus a public health emergency. Apollo had struck. In January 2020, throughout the entire month, the Apollo Belvedere statue, a famous statue in the Vatican Museum, was fully restored. You can't make this stuff up. It's the famous Apollo Belvedere. I'm equally confident now that January 2020, the first seal was broken. We're well into the apocalyptic period. And this explains this awakening that many people are feeling. This is why the scales are falling off the eyes. Guys, before 2020, the elite had an iron grasp. I'm talking about they had us in a vice. Couldn't talk, couldn't say this. You get deleted, you get your channel deleted, you get kicked out off of Google. All these things were happening. Then in 2020, it seems like there's been a massive pushback. Hollywood's taking hits, the banks are taking hits, all these famous people, elitists, they're all taking hits. All these liberal pundits that have been supporting all the paradigms that have been foisted upon us by these globalists and by these extreme liberal institutions that don't want to do anything but take countries apart to globalize everything. There's a major amount of pushback back, but it doesn't matter if that pushback is going to be successful. Hell, even the first seal, it said that he's trying to conquer. It doesn't say he will. I'm just trying to call to your attention that since January 2020, a lot of people were afforded the free time to stay at home and start thinking and start realizing certain truths, to start understanding the world that they were in is not the world that they were taught they were in. This is the subject matter to my channel. This is what I always talk about in Archaics. The world is not what you think it is. But the lesson and the great takeaway from all this is that we're putting these pieces together because when the darkness makes its move, there's a corresponding power that empowers those that resist it. That's where we're at right now, guys. It's nut cutting time. It's time to decide who you are and where you're going to be. Are you going to be with the darkness and take the easy route? Are you going to be on the side of the righteous, which are only righteous in name and not in spirit? Or are you going to be the errant? Are you going to be the individual? Are you going to be the immortal who is here as a watcher to observe, to grow, to learn, and to pluck those from the mire that actually respond to the word? Because you don't have to be a participant. Seeing all this unfold is spiritually liberating to me. I feel empowered. I feel way stronger than I did 3 and 4 days ago just knowing this now. The apocalypse has begun.